Welcome back to Daily Driven Alpha. Right, today is a quick update on where we're at with the front suspension teardown. Specifically rust removal, cleaning it up and preparation for paint, and just giving you a little bit of an idea of some of the before and after results that we've had. So you would have seen in earlier videos as we tore it down, the suspension components have been sitting for quite a while, quite a bit of surface rust on them. You'll notice that the heavy steel components are quite corroded, albeit surface rust. These now have, all we've done is degreased them and wet blasted them with a high pressure blaster. Some of the other things that we've done, as you can see here, is we've already started to prep a few of them, clean them up, and give them a good coat of paint. Some of the steel surfaces that are open waiting for the bushes, we've just coated with a light coat of grease just to keep the corrosion out, and also prepare it for pressing the bushes in. So you can see they've come up quite nicely. As an example here, if you have a look at this half shaft here, the stub axle, we've kept that with a bit of grease on it just to keep it clean, but the heavy steel components have come up nicely. So from that to that, same with the covers. Look, you can go and buy these new, but once again, I keep saying this, spend the time. It's a lot more satisfying doing some of this work yourself. Gently clean this, and I'll show you some of the products we've used to clean it, and then prep it, paint it, and reuse it. Right? So no shame in doing that. Now, on these wishbone suspension arm pieces, you'll notice that this is the piece that we're still yet to start to clean up, and we've brushed some of the dirt and some of the light rust off it. This one here we've started, and this morning I've used a product that I'll show you in a moment, and I've literally taken 10 minutes max to basically do this. That is starting to strip all that rust off and get it down to bare metal nicely. Okay. Obviously in some of these areas here, the hard to reach areas, we'll use some of the wire brushes. Now once we've done this, we then clean it up nicely, use an aggressive cleaner to remove any dirt or oils or wax. Then we prime them with an etch primer, and then we're using a heavy duty gloss enamel paint to give them this nice finish. It'd be nice if we could powder coat them, but we just don't have the access for that facility or the budget to do that. So for those of you who don't powder coat things, here's an alternative that will do. But once again, on these suspension parts, after a while you will start getting some chipping and some wear from road grit and dirt and stones and the like. It's just not as robust as powder coating. Having said that, you still get an acceptable finish that you can be happy with under your vehicle for a length of time. So some of the products that we've used, and I just want to make it clear that we're not sponsored at all. All we do is just show you products that we're using that we're happy with, and if you've got products that are similar in your location, you know, this is what we have here in Brisbane in Australia, but I'm sure that you may have access to similar products wherever you are around the world. So the first thing that we're using to get this kind of finish is this heavy duty open weave polymer wheel. Now these do wear, and you've got to watch for sharp edges, but these rip into the rust and get down to bare metal very quickly. So like I said to you, 5 to 10 minutes to do it this way. Minimal mess. I'm not blasting, I'm not having to worry about compressors and the like. So for anybody who is working in a small workshop and you've got limited resources, this is an option. One of the things you'll notice though is this generates a lot of heat. So on components like this it's okay, but on lighter weight components and steel like this, you've just got to watch how much heat you're generating, because you can actually start to damage the steel. This variant here by Flexibit we've used on grinders and on an angle grinder, and so this cutting wheel is fantastic. We used it on the project car to get all the paint off and get down to bare metal before we primed it, and it did a fantastic job. Really good. But once again, you have to be very, very mindful of the heat that you're generating, and you have to be gentle with it. I can't stress that enough. The flap disc on your grinder as well, these are very helpful for some of the surfaces that you really want to clean up. For instance, if you wanted to really clean this surface up here, this disc would be great, as well as using it on some of your discs, the disc brakes and the like. Some of the wire wheels, these are what we're using to get into the harder to reach places and really drive out some of that surface rust. So you can get these in all different sizes. You choose whatever suits you. For us here, we're using a local manufacturer, Dymark. They're Brisbane based, and so we're using Australian based products once again. As I said, we like to support our local industry, and we're using an etch primer. Once we've cleaned this, we're actually priming these so that we get a really nice bond to the metal. And then, I know it seems simple and it seems a bit rough, but it comes out nicely. We use a heavy duty enamel, touch dry in 15 minutes. What we do is we put a couple of light coats on, let that start to go off, and then we recoat it again so it's so the paint really bonds in there. And we put probably about 3 coats across these, because we know that they're going to get a fair bit of wear. Now, little bump stops and the like, we've done all of these in the same fashion. Some of the other components as well, they come up quite nicely. So it's not the fastest process, although I will say I find actually using these polymer wheels to be a lot quicker than some of the other processes. Now, if you've got access to some media blasting and you have that, then by all means I would suggest that you use that. It's a lot less physical work to do that, and you probably get in there very quickly. If you don't have access, as we don't, then this is the alternative, and we found that it works quite well. So really, I think the results speak for themselves. Going from something like this, it's a little bit fiddly, lots of different angles, etc. But take your time and get into it, and you end up with bringing it back nicely. I mean, that's I know people aren't going to see this on the car, but from our perspective, we like to know that everything that we've done on the vehicle has been done properly, and that once you start I guess repairing the vehicle later down the track, or maintaining the vehicle, that's probably a better word, you know that bolts are going to come off and that you haven't got any surprises there with corrosion, etc. So worth doing it properly. So there you go, just a little bit of an update, some quick tips on rust removal and prep and paint for some of the componentry stuff that you can do in a small workshop yourself, and get some very satisfying results. I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you do enjoy these videos, please subscribe, please like them, and please share them across the community that may be interested. Thanks for watching.